Okay, when I was a clinical director of Mountain Home in Harrison, Arkansas, I had a woman come in and she was actually drug in by her husband and her daughter. She had not been out of the house in probably 2 years. And she came in and her story was a sad story. She was driving a car and her granddaughter was standing in a seat next to her on the seat. And she came around one of those mountain roads up in Mountain Home, and there was a truck over on her side, and she ran off the edge embankment. The car she was in turned over, and the car actually rolled over and crushed her granddaughter's head, killed her. And she hadn't left. She was leaving home. Of course, she felt devastated and depressed and so on. But every time she would leave her home and every time she would see a young child playing, and I asked her, did she have other grandchildren? But she literally pushed herself away from her other grandchildren and so forth, because she would always think about the dead grandchild. So how do you get someone over depression with that? So not only did I go, we went over the depression, but in the first session, I picked up the phone and called the hospital in Mountain Home and said, I've got somebody I want to come over and hold infants and feed them, in the OB ward. And she said, oh, I can't do that. I said, make yourself do it. Push yourself to do that. So she did, and she pushed herself doing it. And then she went from there. I had her go over to a school and read books to children the age of her granddaughter. So not only did we go over the depression, but that she could stand and she could do something with her life. And she started reading this to the grandchildren, opened it up where she was having communication, and would go over purposefully to her other grandchildren and would open her up to see that her life wasn't hopeless and helpless, and she actually could do something about it. And she rapidly got better. And she had been a prisoner in her own home for 2 years. So that you can make a big difference. But you do it both cognitively and behaviorally. So you challenge the beliefs and then you push them to do things that would be very uncomfortable for them. But when you do that, they overcome these beliefs that they have in their head, that it's hopeless and helpless. My life is hopeless and I'm helpless to do anything about it. What can you do about a dead grandkid? Nothing. But you don't have to close yourself off from life. So it's the same exact thing. I need for that event not to have happened, but it did happen, as unpleasant and as sad as it was, and so on, because it happens in all of our lives, not necessarily that, but there's things that happen we don't want.